Hey guys, this is Rob with Deluxe Gaming. This is going to be my first series of gameplay videos, and what better place to start than with Space Engineers. This little gem was released in Steam around October of last year. Immediately interested. It's a building game, kind of like Minecraft, but of course out in the vast open reaches of space. When it was initially released, it was released with just a quote-unquote creative mode, where you just go in and you put together a bunch of blocks like Lego, and you shoot you shoot a bunch of stuff, and you can run into things, and then put the Lego blocks back together. And you could be creative in trying to put together something unique, building ships from movies, and etc., etc., etc. And all in all, I don't think I even bought it at first. I thought, oh, well, that's interesting. It was early access. It's still early access, but the initial early access, I thought, oh, you never know. Steam early access, some of these guys put out and some of these guys don't. So I thought it looked really, really, really interesting, but I wasn't going to put any money into it. So anyway, not long after that, they started patching and adding features and parts that you can add to ships, and really neat. So you could go in, and that's when I bought it. When I saw that they were starting to support it right away, I bought it, and yeah, I would go in, spend 10 minutes, build a bunch of stuff, and then smash it against something or go shoot some stuff up. Well, it still wasn't tremendously interesting, but it was worth the $20 I think I initially spent on it. And then I stopped playing it for a while because, there wasn't really too much more there. And then they released multiplayer, which was pretty incredible. All of a sudden, you could go in with complete strangers or friends and build something quickly, creatively, and run into each other or shoot each other up. And it was pretty fun. So all of a sudden, I'm spending 20 minutes, half an hour a week playing Space Engineers just to go in and have a little bit of fun and shoot a bunch of people and test out a build. And it still wasn't enough of a draw there. And then a couple months ago, they released survival mode. Let me tell you, I fell in love. This is I've spent so much time on this now. It's incredible. I think on my Steam account, I've spent probably over 100 hours already on Space Engineers now. And at least every week I'm touching it. And I'm a game player. I play lots of different things, and I also work for a living, and I have a family, so I can't be playing games 24/7. But I do my best, right? Okay, so anyway, survival mode is here, and they've had many patches since then. In case you're wondering, or you're just tuning in, they've just had the 1.131 patch. I think that's the one. Where they've added the small ship grinders and the small ship welders. So lots and lots and lots of content in the game. The survival mode, basically, you're going in with, there's a few scenarios, and we're going to look at those, but you're going in with very little, and you're trying to make something of it. Not in the sense of the same kind of survival games like the zombie games that you can get, like I also have 7 Days to Die and stuff, and maybe we'll do a Let's Play on one of those one day, or on that one day. But whereas 7 Days to Die, you're focused on your body and making sure that you've got enough food and water, and you've got shelter, and this is a little bit more focused on. As far as surviving, really all you need is power to survive. You got to make sure that your spacesuit is charged up all the time so that you have oxygen. You don't need food, you don't need water, you don't need any of that. And really the game, it's trying to focus you on the building element. I find, when I play Let's Play to Die, 7 Days to Die, that, I get focused on things other than just building. Because, it's so dangerous, the environment's so dangerous, you're always being chased by something. Whereas this, and you can make this like that when you're playing multiplayer. If you start with a bunch of people and they're highly aggressive, it can be a real challenge because you're always running from somebody, and they haven't put all the juicy parts in place yet to defend yourself in the way that you need to from some of these players. And then sometimes you go in and you start playing multiplayer, and everybody's there to help and build something together, and it's pretty fun. Anyway, I really like the survival mode, and we're going to start with that today. This is the first of many videos I'm hoping that I can do with Space Engineers and many other titles. Okay, so first off, we're going to start a new world. Custom world. Alright, so lots of neat little scenarios here you can start with. Easy start. You start on an asteroid platform with one large ship and two small ships. That's actually, it doesn't sound like much, but it's a lot. In survival mode, all you need is a power source and maybe a medic bay and a place, a pilot seat. So it could be, well, you'll see when we get in there. But so this has all of those things and then some. For basic survival, of course, you want to build and be creative. Everything I do in this game now, I don't, if I have an idea to build a ship, I don't go in creative mode, which is super, super easy, where I can just put a bunch of blocks together and have it run. I don't do that. If I have an idea to build something, I do it all in survival because, I like to torture myself. Anyway, it just makes it far more difficult to put something together. And you'll see what I mean when we get in there if you're not completely familiar with survival mode and you've only touched creative mode. Okay, Easy Start 2, start in a green asteroid station with several large ships and small ships. This is a large scene. These scenes are really good to start, especially if you're starting in multiplayer and you're starting a PvP. Like you get a bunch of people together that want to do some PvP. These are great to start with because you got some basic ships that you can salvage quickly and turn into something else, or you can just start smashing each other up or shooting each other up right away. I think it'd be super fun. Different kind of gameplay. It's not my style of gameplay. I like the PvP, don't get me wrong. I like PvP, but I like to earn my kills. So lots of hard work goes behind everything that I put together, usually, and then, we all shoot each other up. And it's kind of like Lego. I remember as a kid playing Lego, where you get a big box of Lego and you and your buddy, you start building stuff and you spend 3 hours, 4 hours building stuff and then you destroy them all. And it is so much fun. Lone Survivor, start on an abandoned asteroid platform with no ships. You have to start from scratch. So you've got a power source. You've got a place to recharge your suit. But you have no ships. So in order to... but you do have a refinery and an assembler. So as long as you're able to build a mining ship, you can process the minerals and then build more parts to build more ships, and etc. from there. Crash Red Ship, super fun. I played this one a lot, where basically the scenario is this big transport ship was flying through space and it hit a big rock and smashed out most of the non-essential systems on the ship. So you still have a power source, you still have the ability, an assembler and a refinery and some thrusters, lots and lots and lots of parts that you can salvage from the ship to either build a new ship or repair this one or build a station, what have you. Super fun. You're starting with pretty much the same stuff in both of these scenarios. It's just, it looks very, very different, right? And there's lots of asteroids in all of these too, right? 2 platforms. This is a really, really, really good PvP one, and I really like this one. And if I find somebody that really enjoys this game, and once they kind of stabilize the game itself in multiplayer, because it's not completely stable yet, where you can sit down and start something multiplayer and just be able to play for 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours without having to restart it, because it does get a little wonky. This is a great scenario, because it's basically 2 big asteroids, 2 big stations, basically like Lone Survivor times 2, but they're separated, they're fairly far apart, and you and another player go in and you just start building what you can and as quickly as you can and play that little PvP game, and it is super, super, super fun. Asteroids, another one of my favorites. Start in a rescue ship with very limited resources near a small asteroid field. This is what we're probably going to be playing today. It gives us the option to start pretty much with nothing, but with lots of potential. So this ship that you start with, it's the rescue ship. It is a mostly finished little refinery ship. So it's got a power source. It's got a med bay, which is very cool. So that's the only way that you can heal yourself. And it's got the refinery and the assembler in there. And of course, it's got lots of cool parts on it. So if that you can break down and turn into something else, so you can either build a station or another ship or whatever. This is I think this is where we're going to start today. And of course, when I play, my goal is not to die. If I die, I feel like the game's over, and I might have to start over. So I quite honestly, if I die, this particular series is done, and we'll start a new one. I try to be honest with myself. I'm playing survival, so yes, I'm going to build a med bay, another med bay. So you need a med bay to heal yourself. So I'll make sure that I have one, so if I do get damaged, I can heal myself. But you also get resurrected at your med bay if you die, and we're just going to try not to die. Empty world. This is tough. So you start with no asteroids, so no potential to mine and process those minerals to build new things. You start with no ships, so no startup ship, nothing. There is a way to play this and build. We're not going to be doing too much of that today. We're going to have the option to do so. But you don't have to always mine to get the minerals to build the parts. You can capture neutral ships that are flying through the system and break those down and build new stuff. So for survival mode, that's really the only option for this world. If you're in creative, of course, there's just nothing there, and you can just build stuff. You don't need to have parts or anything to build it, and it takes no time. But in survival mode, this is a tougher mode, and I've seen other people online on YouTube actually post videos and actually build stuff in that mode, and certainly can be done. There's no reason why it can't be done. So this option here to allow cargo ships, that means neutral ships can fly through the system, and you can capture those ships, stop them, break them down, and build stuff. Yeah, but so we're going to leave the option for cargo ships on. Just I don't know, it just makes me feel less alone when I'm playing. We're going to play alone today. But we're going to put it on private, which means we're playing in a multiplayer mode, but by ourselves. So in other words, at some point during this series, we may open it up to play with other players. Once I open it up to play with other players, I don't mind being resurrected. If I die, I'll come back and I'll keep playing. It's super fun. But as long as I'm playing alone, I'm not going to allow myself to die and continue playing, so hopefully we can keep it together. Okay, so we're going to play Asteroids. I really like this scenario. Don't care about what we name it. Don't care about what the description is until... You can change these later on, too. Just change it with your save. So if we do decide to go multiplayer, we'll change it to something a little bit more appropriate, given what we've done. And I'm not quite sure what we're going to do yet. Of course, the game modes, creative or survival. Creative, you can unlimited resources, instant building, no death. No death, that's interesting. I think you can die. I think you... Well, it's been so long since I played creative, I don't even know. Survival, of course. Realistic management of resources, realistic inventory capacity, death, and respawn. Inventory size. So these three options here, sort of, the level of realisticness. Inventory size. That's the only one I play with. I've played a lot. Don't get me wrong, I've played a lot on just realistic inventory size. It's very, very small. And you can accomplish everything you need to accomplish in the game with a small inventory size. It also affects the size of cargo containers, etc. within the game. And I've spent, like I said, I've spent a lot of time on realistic mode. And the only difference, as far as I'm concerned, between this mode and a ×3 or a ×10 is it just takes longer to build stuff, because you can't have as much stuff in your suit to carry over to whatever you're building to provide the materials. And it's just, to me, the ×3 is perfect. ×10, you can carry so much, it's ridiculous. Like, honestly, you can keep the better part of a big ship in your bag, or a little ship in your bag, and just build it. Whereas ×3, I think it's reasonable. That way we're not spending too much time going back and forth trying to get materials. Assembler efficiency and refinery efficiency, I torture myself and I keep those on realistic speed. For myself, I just like having those take a long time. It forces me to do things that I wouldn't do if they were up higher. So in other words, with refinery speed being that slow, as slow as it is, so it'll refine minerals very slowly, and it forces me to build many refineries, right? To be able to accomplish what I need to accomplish. And it's fine, because once you get to a certain point, with one person, you can only build so fast. So it actually gets to a point where it all levels out and you're okay, but you have to have a certain amount of refineries working to be able to make that work properly. Assembler efficiency, any faster is too fast in my opinion. There's only a couple things that build fairly slow that you kind of want to have an assembler working on all the time eventually, like steel plates and construction components. It's not that steel plates build slowly, it's just you need a lot of them to be able to accomplish what you need to accomplish. And construction components, they build slowly, but you know what? You just have an assembler dedicated to that. So anyway, online mode, we're going to go private. Max players, max objects. Max players doesn't matter right now because we're in private mode. So it's a visibility of our game, and so it's a multiplayer game, but it's other players cannot join, so they cannot see the game. So max players for it doesn't matter because we don't have anybody playing with us on this one. Max objects, this is the maximum number of small objects floating in space. As you're mining, even with a really good miner, you'll end up with lots of ore lying all over the place. It really doesn't bother me, and it doesn't slow my machine down. My machine seems to run pretty well. Even at higher levels, if it does become a problem when we turn this on to multiplayer, then we'll lower that number. Environment hostility. This is actually really fun, and I don't mind turning these on later. I think for now we're going to keep it on normal. So what this is, this allows asteroid impacts in your system. So in normal mode, every 10 minutes or so, you're going to get a big meteor shower, and when these things hit, they put holes in big ships unless they're properly armored. And there's other ways to defend yourself from this. There's guns, there's automatic turrets that will shoot down the asteroids. Really great, super fun. For our first video, right now, we're going to keep it off. Like I said, we may turn it on later, especially if we go multiplayer on this one. And there's 3 different settings. There's normal, like I said, every 10 minutes you get a little asteroid shower. Cataclysm, there's just more of them. And then Armageddon is just all the time. It's just crazy. Auto healing, I turn that off. To me, it's survival. So if you want to heal, you've got to use a med station. Show player names doesn't really matter right now. In PvP mode, I tend to turn that off. That way, people can't see you from way far away. Copy and paste, can't do that in survival mode anyway. Thruster damage, I keep this on. It's realistic. If you're standing behind a thruster and it goes off, yeah, it hurts, right? Or it'll damage parts of a ship if there's a thruster going up against it. Autosave, we'll turn this off for now. It's a little annoying. I like to control my saves. And the game's fairly stable, so it's not like it crashes a lot. Cargo ships, as I mentioned before, this is neutral ships passing through the system, so it can be mining ships, it can be personal pleasure ships, it can be a variety of different things. You'll see when we get in there. And weapons enabled allows us to use weapons. Pretty straightforward. We're going to keep it on. Not that we're going to have much use for weapons right now, but eventually when we either change the environment hostility to anything above safe, of course we're going to want to be able to have weapons so that we can shoot down those asteroids, and or when we turn it on multiplayer and we need to defend ourselves from random people popping in. Okay, so here we go. There's our custom world. We're ready to go. You know what? We are going to change the name of this, I think, just because I might already have that particular type of name in my list of saves, so we're just going to put YouTube series. Okay, good enough. And away we go. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. The only reason I'm sharing this now on YouTube is because I love the game this much, and I want to be sure that it does get the exposure it deserves. The devs have been absolutely fantastic. They release a patch on this every week, and it's always amazing. It just amazes me how much content is actually in the game now. So, if you're watching this to learn how to play the game, I will try to go over the keys as I remember. T, now, I don't know the keys fluently, like all of the keys, but I know most of them. T is really important, so T, things, I don't know what they, T will allow you to access cockpits. Let's just take a look here and see. Use interact. Okay, so T is use interact. So you can use that to open doors and turn things on and off. Access a terminal with K. Help and never use. Lights on or off. So your suit has lights. If you hit L, it'll turn it on. If you've built a ship that uses lights, you can use L to turn them on and off. Alt, I use Alt all the time, especially when you're managing big ships. A lot of times with big ships, the cockpit or the control station, whatever you want to call it, is not located in such a way that you can just sit and fly. Sometimes you have to fly from third person mode, and Alt helps you navigate that better. Reactors on and off, so basically turning off your ship to conserve power. I've already done that with the ship that we're on. Toolbar config, we use this a lot. It's how we bring different parts to our toolbar to work on. You'll see that in a bit. HUD on and off, I never use that. I guess that's to turn off the HUD so that you can take screenshots. Inertial dampeners, very important. Of course, you can use, beverage time, hang on. Morning coffee. I get dry. Inertial dampeners. Very important. You can use your thrusters to continually push yourself, drive in space, and as soon as you turn off those thrusters, the other thrusters are going to fire and slow you down until you stop. Without inertial dampeners on, those counter thrusters will not fire. So you can just keep going. Jetpack, of course, you've got a jetpack. You can turn it off. If you do that in open space, you're just kind of float around. If you turn it off on one of your stations, you're still going to float around, but if you've got a gravity generator on the station, you can actually walk on it just like you would any other FPS. Chat screen, enter, you can start typing. Suicide, you can commit suicide. We're not going to do that. Landing gear. This is an interesting one. So the landing gears are multi-purpose. Landing gears you can also use to grab onto objects or to dock. You'll get to see that once we have the opportunity to use it. Inventory, of course, you can see what's in your inventory and manage that, and look at the inventory in cargo containers on ships. So T, of course, is to use a terminal. Right. Okay. You can also on, off. So V, also very important. That's your third-person view. Alt, holding down Alt, I can look around. And Y, we have already turned the ship off. Y will turn the ship on and turn it off. With it on, if we move forward, rear thrusters. So, there's a lot of attention right now on Star Citizen. I'm sure you've heard of Star Citizen. If you're here, if you haven't, check it out. It's Chris Roberts' new space adventure. Super excited. Everybody's super excited. Some interesting similarities between this and Chris Roberts' adventure. Just the thrusters, having thrusters located on a ship and managing your ship that way. So, the physics is pretty good on this. There's some things that I question, and, I don't know how it exactly works. Like, if turning my ship right now, none of my thrusters are firing. There's a part on my ship called a gyroscope, which is great. I don't know how it works. How is it turning the ship without thrusters firing? Whereas with Chris Roberts, it uses those thrusters to manage turning and stopping and all that. or not stopping, but it uses thrusters to manage the turning part. Whereas the thrusters are used to move forward, back, and side to side in the game. So now we're going to turn our inertial inertial dampeners off. That way we don't lose speed as we pick up speed here on the right side. It says our speed. We're going to head toward this asteroid here. And when we turn off our thrusters, we shouldn't start slowing down. Hold on. Oh, inertial dampeners off. There we go. Right, our speed doesn't slow down when we turn off the thrusters. We should just keep going, adding speed. Then as soon as we get close, we turn off the inertial dampeners. If I say something incorrectly, don't get mad at me. I'm just so excited. I'm always so excited, especially to start a new game. All right. Here we go. Okay. So we're going to try and find a decent place to start building. Every time you leave your ship in survival mode, try to turn your ships off. Be careful with that though, because if something bumps this ship, it's going to go floating away. Oh, the other thing is turn your ship back on and make sure that you can exit the ship by using the door. Couldn't open the door without the power on. Okay. So my goal for this particular game with you guys, I'm going to try something new. I am interested. I always come in and I try to build a station, build a home. Well, I don't want necessarily a home. I'm stranded out in the middle of nowhere. And ultimately, my goal is to get home. And I know that building a station, well, it's kind of counterproductive. Eventually, I'm going to want to leave. So why don't, instead of building a station, I'm going to build a home ship. And by home ship, it's going to be kind of like this, but far more functional. This ship here, hold on, I can't seem to get through the door. Yeah, it's the first day with my jets, I guess. This ship is pretty nice, actually. It comes with some extra cargo space, an assembler, which allows you to build all the parts you'll need to build whatever you need, and a refinery, which allows you to process raw minerals into processed minerals, which you can put in an assembler to build parts, as well as a med bay. And where's the reactor here? We used to be able to access the reactor from here. I don't know. Let me just see here. We can also look at it from here. And a reactor with some uranium in it. And the uranium is, of course, what we need for powering the ship. There's other ways to another way to power a ship. That's with solar panels. Requires a lot of solar panels. But anyway, pretty nice little ship. Self-sufficient, pretty self-sufficient, so we can take minerals from this rock here, bring them over here, put them in a refinery, refine them into usable minerals, put them in the assembler, and build whatever we need, which is great. But ultimately, for this mission, we want to be able to drive up to an asteroid like this, mine the crap out of it, get enormous amounts of materials, and build a new ship if necessary with our home ship. And for that to happen with this ship, it would take forever. So we're talking about a massive industrial ship with, 10 refineries on it, with, 4 or 5 assemblers, with, a huge bridge and a massive mining platform and mining ships and combat ships, all sorts of ways to defend ourselves too. So, because eventually, I'd like to turn on the multiplayer element of this and just allow people to come in and play with them and see what kind of creations they can put together. So pretty ambitious. Some interesting challenges when doing this versus a station. But I think there's the potential for efficiency with building a mobile platform like that. I just think there's a lot more opportunity. Because, if this particular asteroid runs out of the minerals we need to continue building whatever project we're working on, we can just fire up our base and move to the next asteroid, and then move to the next asteroid, and then move to the next asteroid. And still in the spirit of survival, drive home with this massive fleet and just one person behind it all. I cannot wait until, well, I'm hoping that someday that they turn space engineers into kind of a, not just multiplayer, but, bigger than that. I'd love to have a persistent universe. Kind of like what they're planning with Star Citizen, except, of course we can build all our own stuff, right? Sort of that persistent universe that, people come on and sort of stake their claim and start building. And, every once in a while, fleets of people run into each other and battles ensue or alliances are made, and I think that would be super fun. Right now the multiplayer's, it's okay. There's definitely some stability issues. But, you're putting up the server, and the server stays up for as long as your machine will tolerate it, and people come on, and there's some cheap stuff that can go on, in this, if somebody comes on, right now, if I had this open up, they would come on in this ship and say I had a station building here. They wouldn't even have to build a turret or anything on their ship to fight me. Honestly, they just take their ship and they smash right into it. And they can do that immediately. And it's kind of cheap. Actually, it's not just kind of cheap, it's really cheap. There's not enough distance between anybody. And as soon as they die, they come back in another ship exactly like this. So they just up here, come in, smash my station, and then die, and then come in, up here, come over and smash me again. They can just keep doing that. It's really quite cheap. So I'm kind of hoping that gets improved upon at some point. And, maybe a grander version of the multiplayer. And I know they're planning some things like one of them is factions, where, I don't know a lot about it. I haven't done a lot of reading, but I'm assuming where you come in and everybody who's, on your friends list assigned as part of your faction, all your turrets won't fire at them, and etc. Whereas people that you don't know are automatically not in your faction, and your turrets will automatically fire at them. But anyway, I'm sure they're going to keep improving upon the multiplayer, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Okay, so let's go take a look at this asteroid. I know we took a quick look here, but we're going to look a little bit more in depth. We want to see what kind of minerals are around here. There's some basics that we need to be sure that are available. Uranium is one of them. Now, as long as we have our hand drill in our hand, the types of minerals should appear. Like, it should actually show the name of the mineral. I know a lot of them by just looking. It's not showing. So that's uranium. I can tell just by the color of it. Uranium has that black, kind of charcoaly kind of look. Maybe they removed that. Maybe they took that out with a patch, where with your hand drill, it actually tells you what it is. But in any case, gold. I can tell that that's gold right away, of course, because it's gold. Here, L. We'll turn on our light. See, it's pretty. That's pretty awesome, and it's a voxel-based game, so drill, and it destroys the particles and shoots out these little pieces of juicy minerals that we can capture with T. Painful to mine by hand, but there are better ways. Just rest assured, better ways. This particular color of mineral is iron. What else we got? We want to be sure that we've got some magnesium, which is right there, kind of that bluish hue. Magnesium is used for building, primarily used for building ammunitions and explosives. Very, very important once you start getting into the multiplayer stuff, and or have the safety level decreased in the system. That looks like silver. Silver's good for lots of stuff. Want to be sure that we've got silicone. That's silicone. I know they all kind of look the same, don't they? Well, you can tell I've played this a lot. That, my friends, is nickel. Nickel's also very, very, very important. This is a pretty good looking asteroid. Another thing I really like about this asteroid is it's unassuming on the outside. Some of the asteroids that they have in the game look like Swiss cheese, and you can access them like a million different ways. And it looks pretty obvious that, you know, if you're building in there, if you've got stuff going on in there, it's pretty darn obvious. This one's kind of unassuming. I kind of like it. Right away, like, and I mean that sincerely. I'm not being lazy here, although I am lazy. This actually does look like the kind of asteroid that I would love to live in. Lots of uranium, that's our fuel source. Silicone, lots of iron, there's gold, there's silver, there's magnesium. Cobalt, I don't see any cobalt here, but maybe there is. Once we actually get an ore detector, we can find some. We've got nickel. Don't see any platinum offhand, but those two, you know, we don't need an enormous amount of them, at least to get started. I think that's silver. And, you know, I think this is a great place to get started. And another thing I really like about this asteroid, it only has, what, three entrances? Which is perfect for defending yourself. We may start building our ship on the inside of the asteroid. I haven't decided yet. Our home ship. We could build a little station on the inside of the asteroid to kind of get us started. So 1, 2, 3 main entrances I see here. There could be more, but that's what I see right now. I actually really like it. Well, you know what? Let's go take a look outside to see if there's any other asteroids that are really close that we can go peek at. Because maybe there is something better. But I'm all about convenience too. Yeah, it used to be when you put a handrail in your hand, it would actually, you know, there'd be a little thing that pop up and say, "That's iron." Well, it doesn't do that anymore. So maybe they patched that out. I don't know. Maybe it's a setting I picked, but I don't remember picking any setting like that. Okay, so there's a few other... Whoops. Health, 99%. You gotta be really careful when you're flying around, not to fly into things too quickly, because you'll get hurt and or die. Okay. We do have a medical station on the ship, so we can just power that up and heal ourselves up. Okay. Well, I like the asteroid. I don't want to lose it. In other words, we could go start looking around for something different and then end up losing the location of this one. So I don't want to take any chances. But we'll take a quick look at the ship here. Let me just recharge. On the bottom left corner is our energy indicator. It shows how much energy we have left in our suit. As soon as that runs to 0, we are no longer being provided with oxygen. Therefore, it's not going to be pretty at that point. We have a medical room, so notice our health on the left side, right under flying there, is 99%. We hold down T, and bang, right up to 100. It will also heal your energy too, so you don't have to actually sit in the captain's chair here. It's a cockpit, but yeah, it's a captain's chair, I guess. Okay, all right. Let's just take a quick look here. So now there's another object you can build in the game called a beacon, which would be really helpful right now, because we could place a beacon down either on our ship or on the asteroid, and it will light up, so we can actually pinpoint our location, so we could actually go start looking around at other asteroids. You know what? Oh, you know what I did? Ha 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 ha. We're just going to save this. We're going to save this here, guys. I have a feeling that when we were setting up the game, yeah, we set the asteroid amount to 4. So that was something that I meant to change. I didn't think about it. We want extreme. We want as many asteroids as possible in our game. Just adds the diversity of gameplay, and especially once we get multiplayer, we want to have lots and lots and lots of materials, lots of places for people to build bases, etc. So what we're going to do is we're going to close up this episode, and I'm going to restart with all the proper options and go back in for the second episode. So I'm not going to waste anybody's time going through all this again and make sure that we're starting in the right scenario. And then I'll meet you back here for episode 2. If you like what you see, please hit the like button or subscribe. I really appreciate it. Like I said, my goal here is just to add some positive exposure to the game. I love the game, and I want to share my experiences and show you how I play. And if you have any advice or suggestions, or if I've said something completely incorrect, please correct me. I'm all about making sure that the right information gets out there. Anyways, I hope you enjoy the series. We'll talk to you soon, guys. Bye. Darn it, I can't believe I did that.